This is a PC case themed after a video game that I've been playing since 2009. I painted snow on it, I 3D printed a shield, I have justified this to my wife way too many times with multiple different explanations, and none of them have seemed to fully work yet. We're still working on that one. But let's build it anyways. Montech sent me over their new case, the Sky 3. Cheers, Montech. And normally when a case shows up, the video ends up being, here's what's in the box. Here is how the air flows. Here is whether you should buy it or not. And that's not 100% what we're going to be doing here today. Somewhere between opening the box and looking at all of the glass, I had a better idea. And I want to talk about that idea a little bit first because I think it matters a little bit more than the spec sheet of this case. I've been playing League of Legends since 2009. That's longer than my marriage, longer than my mortgage, well older than any of my kids, and long enough that the Freljord has become a second home for me. I've spent a genuinely embarrassing number of hours on the Howling Abyss, and one of my favorite characters is Braum, as well as Poros. I love those little guys. So when I saw this case had that much glass, front and side, fully open, I didn't think great airflow. I thought, that's a beautiful canvas. I'd been wanting to build a League of Legends themed PC for quite a while now, and this seemed like the perfect opportunity. Okay, real talk though on the Sky 3 first. Pretty straightforward computer case. Taking it out of the box seems like just about any other, but the first thing that you notice about the case is the glass. The slight 13-degree angle on the front panel gives it a little bit of character just from the start, but we'll actually come back to that angle in just a second because it is kind of cool. But you'll see I also opted for the black case. If you would normally think that I would have went for white if I was going for snow in the Freljord, but you'll see what I'm going for here just in a bit. The next thing that you notice though is that the case is the offset fans and PSU bottom chambers here. These just happen to be modular as well. The fans in the front is called CPU mode, and the fans in the back is what Montech called GPU mode. Since we'll be playing some games on this machine, we're going to be putting this into GPU mode just to be safe. I think the PSU in the front also provides this perfect stage for maybe a cute little figure or something else that you want to showcase there. This part genuinely surprised me though. The RGB lighting uses these gold-plated pogo pins instead of a cable running to every single strip. So even in the glass panel that's fully removable, you seat it back on the case, it makes contact, and it lights up. No daisy chaining 6 connectors behind the motherboard tray at 11 p.m. begging for it to work. It just works. And it's just all built in. It adds a nice little touch of RGB all the way around the case if that's what you're into. Here's the part that I'm not going to pretend was genuinely easy, but it was a lot of fun. Painting the case. So going for the Freljordian theme, I wanted the glass of this machine to look like it was a little bit frosted over. I wanted a snow-dusted look creeping up the sides. I didn't want the case to look like it was the snow itself. I wanted it to look like it was an ancient artifact that was left outside in Freljord for an entirely too many years. Getting paint to sit right on the panel that's supposed to stay glass clean without it looking like I sneezed primer on my PC. Now, that took a couple of attempts. My first try, I was actually using some of this ice crystal spray. It wasn't exactly what I was hoping for. It did look pretty darn cool, but it was definitely not permanent. As soon as you touched it, it was rubbing off and it was making your hands all sticky. It was kind of a mess. Luckily, because of that, the fact that it wasn't permanent, it washed off pretty easy. So luckily, my second attempt was just to spray it with some white spray paint, and that worked so much better. The 3D printed pieces were actually the easier win here. I printed a mountain range in a couple of different pieces and then was able to merge them all together to be able to sit on top of the PC. It's not only a super cool decoration, but it also just so happens to block all of the airflow out of the top of the case to create some real heat inside. So to give it a bit more breathing room and to make it attach a little bit better to the case rather than just sitting on top of it, I added a couple of magnets to the bottom side, and now the whole machine is sitting together better and it is breathing better as well. I also printed and hand painted a Braum shield for the front of the case, scaled it to fit perfectly to protect all of the poros that are going to be going inside of this case. It really gives it that extra flair that I was really looking for. I've been debating giving it a glowing LED eyes to light up, but I think that is honestly a different project for a different day at this point. Build-wise, this case supports full ATX motherboards, clearance for up to a 445mm GPU, plenty of space for my 4080 Super Founders Edition, and up to a 185mm air cooler, but I ended up opting for Montech's 240mm Hyperflow Digital AIO, which fits perfect along the side panel. The case also comes with 2 intake fans on the bottom and the extra one on the exhaust on the rear, so you're not starting completely from zero when it comes to airflow. I did add a couple more outflow fans on the top, mostly for the extra icy blue lighting, but this is going to push some more air out if we are pushing this system to the limits. To round out the build, I have the Intel i7-14700K along with 48 gigabytes of the white Corsair Dominator RAM. No build is truly complete without some of those accent power supply cable extensions, so I decided to go with the white and blue to really offset the rest of the black inside of this case. And then, of course, powering the whole thing is the 1050 watt Montech Sentry 2 PSU. Now, if you make content or stream and you're trying to decide whether this case is worth it, that answer really depends on what you're trying to optimize for. If you want a case that just disappears into a black box in the corner, this isn't that case. It is really more of a showcase kind of case to me. But if you want that build to be part of your channel, here's my sick PC that I'm actually proud to show off. This definitely gets the job done even without a bunch of painting and extra modifications like I did. I think this case with the 13-degree front angle looks just unique enough to be a showcase piece. Now, I've been playing League since 2009, and that's honestly not a flex. It's kind of sad at this point. It's really just how it is. And after about 16 years, I've had exactly one PC that ever really felt like it was my computer. This machine really makes that happen. This is the machine that I want to play games on. I didn't build this PC because I needed a new one. I didn't build it for a client. I built this because I've realized that I never once made something that was really just for me out of the fun of it. No client, no does this convert for the best YouTube video? Will this test and perform the best on benchmarks? Solely just because I really like this game. I have a 3D printer and had too much time on a Saturday a while back. That's kind of a luxury, honestly, but being able to build something dumb on purpose like this has become really fun for me. So I hope you enjoy this build as well. So here's what I actually want to tell you. Is this case worth it? I really think it is. It was easy to build in. It's very sturdy. I've had a blast with it. But if you're a creator sitting on a case like this and a hobby you're a little bit too into like me, this could be the excuse to try something a little bit different. You don't necessarily need a reason. I like this thing is a complete sentence and a complete thought, and you can do something just for the fun of it. This Sky 3 case isn't just a great case, it gave me a big, honest piece of glass to put something that I find really joyful behind it. And I'd rather have that on my desk than a case that's technically more impressive or says nothing about me at all. Build the weird one. You won't regret it. Honestly, take it from me. Or at least you'll have a good story at the end of it. Cheers. We'll see you in the next one.